Welcome everybody, this is Tap Out Talk and it is finally WrestleMania season. It begins in a mere few hours. It is time for the Royal Rumble live from Riyadh. And the women are ready, the men are ready, and you better believe I am ready. I am your host, Bryan, the Hype, Ballard from the fans of Pro Wrestling.com and Tap Out Talk. We're going to talk predictions, spoilers, and a little bit more. Let's get in. Let's talk Royal Rumble weekend, and I got some news for you. Let's get in. Let's get started with the women's Royal Rumble match. Let's get into some predictions. We got the road to WrestleMania officially beginning. The top female superstars in the WWE are set to compete in the women's championship match on the grandest stage of them all. The match will begin with two superstars in the ring, and in timed intervals, they will enter the fray in elimination, and they will over the top rope. You know how this works. Women that have qualified for the match so far to compete in April at WrestleMania are Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, Bayley, Lyra Valkyria, Liv Morgan, Roxanne Perez, Raquel Rodriguez, Asuka. Nobody's ready for Asuka. Jordynne Grace of TNA fame, Becky Lynch, Chelsea Green, Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, Nia Jax, Lash Legend, Julia, and Maxine Dupree have all declared for the Royal Rumble, and we will have possibly some surprises in effect as well. I do think we will get maybe an appearance from Mickie James potentially. I do think we could get some other WWE divas in the mix. Maybe a little LA Cool action coming into the Royal Rumble this year. Maybe we can get some, classic stars helping fill. I think we'll get some NXT talent making some debut as well. Whoever wants to make that trip over there, we will get some nice, fun surprises. But I want to give you guys my expectations, kind of what I see as the top 5 fun winners that could win this Women's Royal Rumble this year and compete for one of the women's titles. But I also want to give you guys a mix of that and a mix of who most likely would win and who would also be fun to book winning as well. So without further ado, let's get into our predictions. In no particular order, number 5, we've got Io Sky. She's had a heck of a year in the WWE and had what was one of the best opening matches in WrestleMania last year in the women's match of WrestleMania. Io Sky has lit the WWE on fire with a women's world title run, and she definitely created a lot of momentum for herself. Io Sky is very much a main event player, and she has not yet won a women's Royal Rumble and can keep that momentum going by winning a Royal Rumble, which would allow her to jump to either brand that she could. I could see Io Sky working a match with Jade Cargill and actually mixing it up, and it would give Jade Cargill a very talented opponent to actually work with at WrestleMania if they wanted to keep the title on her all the way up to that point. Also, I could see Tiffany Stratton and Io Sky going at it as well for future competition. Io would have a lot to work with on another brand, so I could see that mixed in as well. Next, we could see Jordynne Grace making an impact. You see what I did there on the WWE brand. Winning a Women's Royal Rumble would immediately thrust her into the picture. She is very competitive and very ready, and she has had a lot of good experience in Royal Rumbles in the past couple years. So now we could see her being the power woman of the Royal Rumble and being rewarded and actually getting into a wrestling main event at WrestleMania, going for a women's championship. And I could see her getting that nice stake. How would you like to see Jordynne Grace being a women's Rumble winner representing TNA partnership, but also being in there with the Ric Flair daughters of the world, the Charlotte Flairs and the Baileys and the Becky Lynches and the Asukas and all the former winners, and putting TNA on the map with main event players like that. We also got Bianca Belair looking to win her second Women's Royal Rumble matchup. Also looking to tie Charlotte for that honor. Charlotte, a 2-time Women's Royal Rumble winner and the only one. Bianca Belair could do that this weekend at the Royal Rumble. And would you guys like Bianca Belair's chances? She makes all her own ring uniforms, sews them, designs them all herself. What is she going to come up with this weekend? Is she going to come up with something amazing to win her second Royal Rumble? I could see Bianca Belair being back in the main event picture on Raw or SmackDown and making the jump. And also, one of my most likely winners of this would be somebody that has not won a Royal Rumble but is in a main event picture a lot, and that is none other than Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan could thrust herself right back up there, causing some jealousy within her own faction, the Judgment Day, with Raquel Rodriguez among others and Roxanne Perez. I could see a little bit of mix of everybody getting in on the action, maybe even Elimination Chamber, but I could see Liv Morgan getting thrusted into a main event spot and causing a little dissension among the group. So those are the 4 Women Rumble prediction winners for myself here. What do you guys think? But I do have a bonus one just for you guys that would be fun to book and fun to think about, and it could happen. But what about Natty Neidhart? That's right, I have a good prediction this year for not Natalya Neidhart, but recently rebranded low-key legend Natty Neidhart, shedding the Natalya brand recently on Raw, looking to make a huge difference in her character. And what better than on a big stage in Saudi Arabia and winning a women's Royal Rumble? Neidhart, Flair, Bayley, Ronda Rousey. I think those names could all go hand in hand in a very much deserved female women's wrestler that has given so much to this business. Natalya, Natty Neidhart definitely would be very deserving. And I love this new character, this blood sport MMA fighter style character, and we could really debut it on a main stage at the Royal Rumble and let Natty get involved, win the Women's Rumble, and go on to challenge and defeat her opponent at WrestleMania, and actually Natty become a major player in the championship. She could actually play that Ronda Rousey MMA role that the WWE has been missing since Rousey has left, even leading up to possibly a Ronda Rousey return in the future with a Natty Neidhart wrestling versus MMA showdown at next year's WrestleMania. You guys heard it here first. That could be a fun mix in a main event of WrestleMania next year. Those are the predictions for the women's match. Let's get into some other ones. We got a career killer match. That's right, WWE just recently trademarked career killer. Most likely going to be applied for Gunther, as he has now, in the past year, defeated and ended the careers of Goldberg and John Cena, and is looking to end the career of AJ Styles. And he'll put that incredible streak against the line. AJ Styles looking to keep his career alive, but he's going to put his career against the line against Gunther, the ring general, this weekend at the Royal Rumble. Ultimately, I do see Gunther possibly ending AJ Styles' career at the Royal Rumble. I look for Gunther to go on and do bigger and better things this year, and I look for another notch in the belt. I never seen AJ Styles wanting a John Cena-like year-long retirement tour. I do see that this could be a career-ending matchup in the WWE for AJ Styles. Notice I said in WWE. Remember, I could see AJ Styles popping up here and there at TNA Wrestling. Every once in a while taking a matchup in that partnership or showing an area there. Or even in a general manager role of TNA Wrestling. I can see AJ Styles representing something of that nature. But ultimately, I do see AJ Styles eventually hanging up the boots. I do see Gunther adding that to his resume. And I do see Gunther going on and then having Cena, Goldberg, and AJ Styles all under his belt of people that he has career killed and ended all within the year, building up to something bigger at Mania and even over the summer at SummerSlam. Could we see a Brock Lesnar added to that list? Could we see even more from Gunther? I have big plans for Gunther, and we'll talk about that a little later. Also, let's get into the undisputed WWE Championship. Sami Zayn will get the chance of a huge lifetime against Drew McIntyre for the undisputed championship. McIntyre captured the title recently from Cody Rhodes in a 3 stages of hell match on SmackDown. Zayn earned the championship bout by taking on Ilya Dragunov in a qualifying match on SmackDown before beating Randy Orton, Damian Priest, and Trick Williams in a fatal 4-way match on Saturday night's main event last weekend. And this will allow him the chance to win. Zayn has never defeated McIntyre one-on-one, with a record standing at an astonishing 0-12 against the Scottish Warrior Drew McIntyre. In Saudi Arabia, where he's very beloved, could Sami Zayn have his victory, his very first victory against Drew McIntyre, or will he go 0-13? Here's the final prediction for me. I do see Sami Zayn getting a victory this weekend at the Royal Rumble, but I don't see him winning the championship. That's right. Sami Zayn does get a win against Drew McIntyre via crook, not hook. He'll get a disqualification, a count out, something of that nature, to where the champion's advantage does play and Drew McIntyre will retain the title, but Sami will get his first victory over that, allowing a rematch, possibly even on a SmackDown, in which Drew will easily take care of Sami, possibly even at Elimination Chamber, and moving on to WrestleMania in this mini feud. But I do see that Sami Zayn does get one victory in Saudi Arabia by disqualification or count out. And there it is, folks. But we're going to get to the main event. For that, hit that like, share, or subscribe button. Either way helps me out. Thank you so much. Over on Twitter at the Bryan Atkins. Let's go into the men's Royal Rumble match. We got lots of competitors already determined. We got Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, Gunther, Brock Lesnar, Jey Uso, last year's winner, Rey Mysterio, Dragon Lee, Penta, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, Logan Paul, Austin Theory, Javon Evans, and Oba Femi, the new NXT champion, previous champion, moved up to the main roster. Men's Royal Rumble, star-studded event, and we've got lots of options. There's speculation. You guys think Chris Jericho is possibly going to show up at this Rumble? I do not. I would actually tease it in a slightly different way. I would tease an entrance via code of Jericho, but I would not actually allow him to debut at this. I would slow drip that all the way to later. Just let you guys get teased like Jericho likes to do, and I would do it randomly when you guys don't expect it. But ultimately, they do want some big surprises that night. And I would give you guys some returns. I would give you guys some fun things that are mixed in. But ultimately, let's look at the most likely fun scenarios and most likely scenarios to win for the Royal Rumble in the men's edition. Number 1, Roman Reigns making his long-awaited return. Roman very much in play to win the Royal Rumble this weekend. Roman has been kind of dead in the water since last year's WrestleMania, losing straight up, and he's looking to get back in the picture, or at least get back into a main relative storyline, and this would be rocketing him right to the top, possibly looking to get back into last year when he did lose in that main event night 1 with CM Punk and Seth Rollins. I could see Roman Reigns wanting to get back at CM Punk in that main event of WrestleMania, but don't look too fast, because we could see a return of Seth Rollins at the Royal Rumble, and Seth Rollins could very much thrust himself back into a championship picture with CM Punk, his arch rival. I do look for WrestleMania to possibly have a multi-man championship match for the first time in quite a few years for one of its world titles. We haven't done that in a while, and I do think the WWE would look to get back to that at WrestleMania for at least one of their nights and one of their championships, just to add a couple guys into the mix. And I could see Roman and Rollins, among a few others, getting into a multi-man challenge. But there's a couple options there. But also, I can see Gunther winning the Royal Rumble and elevating after he retires AJ Styles. I can see Gunther elevating himself by winning the Royal Rumble and going on to Mania and winning a world title and actually getting a championship back, possibly the big one from Drew McIntyre. I could actually see Gunther elevating. He was an Iron Man of the Royal Rumble a few years ago, where he was the workhorse of the Rumble. He's actually about due for a world title, but the question is there more to do with Gunther with this career killer gimmick? Would he need a Brock Lesnar if Lesnar was ready to retire? Would he need a little bit more to add to that resume? But if you did put that title on the line, he could do title versus career in the next year. That's right, title versus career in the next year for Gunther as world champion. And he could retire Brock Lesnar. He could retire Randy Orton. Anybody that wanted one final taste at a world champion. And Gunther could hang that over their heads and use it as bait to bait them into retirement one last time for one last chance. I could see Gunther being your world champion and using that title for bait to retire guys left and right. So I like this. This is one of my actually top favorite picks to win the Royal Rumble. And he's the guy that qualifies. He's pulling double duty that night. WWE's very much behind him. They've given him a lot in the past few years between the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion and now retiring Goldberg and John Cena. They did make him tap out the Jey Uso last year, and I think the WWE realized that was a little bit of a mistake, and they're now correcting the ship, and they're really pushing hard and making that right with him, and they got a super villain that they really want to build up here. So next, LA Knight could be making his major return at the Royal Rumble, and he would pop for the crowd, and we could see LA Knight being a winner of the Royal Rumble, and we could see LA Knight getting back into the mix and getting back into a world title picture for the first time at a WrestleMania main event. Oh, yeah. So, Royal Rumble, LA Knight. I said last year if the WWE wanted to build a newer star, they should go with somebody that is just about to peak. And I did say that with LA Knight in mind. They went with Jey Uso. Is it too late for LA Knight? Or do they have one final chance to build him? Is it right now this year? I'm going to give you guys one more bonus pick here. These are the foremost ones that I like, but this is a bonus pick that I like that if I was booking, I would have fun with it, and we would just roll with it, and we would book it to the moon, and that's Oba Femi, the NXT Dominant Champion. If you guys haven't seen this guy, he's got the next big thing in the total package, and then you could just slap the rocket on him and send it to the moon. You could have Oba Femi win the Royal Rumble, and you could send him into WrestleMania and have him decimate Drew McIntyre and win the World Undisputed Championship at the Royal Rumble. And your new star is born and a new star is created. He's got the total package. He's got everything you need in a young future world champion. Drew McIntyre and Oba Femi did cross paths at Saturday night's main event when Cody Rhodes and Oba Femi did battle for briefly in a non-title matchup, champion versus champion. And then Drew McIntyre actually interfered, costing them guys both of the matchup. And they haven't spoke since. So I could see Oba Femi and a Drew McIntyre history there coming back up. You could even tie Cody into the mix if you wanted a triple threat matchup in which Oba Femi could get a nice nod somehow. And so you could have that multi-man matchup where Oba does somehow even get a rub at WrestleMania. Maybe he wins the Rumble, he gets in the match, and maybe he does not win the title, but maybe he just gets a main event of WrestleMania in his rookie year on the main roster, and that's not a bad go either. Guys, let's get into the WrestleMania. We're a few hours away. Those are my predictions. I'd love to hear yours. Let me know on Twitter or the comments down below. But the road to WrestleMania is here, and the road to the Rumble is just a short time away. I think the WWE, it's the most exciting event of the year. It's so unpredictable. We don't know who's returning. We don't know who's going to win. Nobody could have predicted Jey Uso last year. I think I heard one person that told me the WWE was really liking it, but they kept it very under wraps. So ultimately, I do believe that this is the most unpredictable and fun event of the year. And hopefully the WWE does deliver on this over in Saudi Arabia. And I hope you guys enjoy it too. But we are now going to go ahead and let the countdown begin. Thank you guys, and I'm out.